So, good afternoon. It is here in New Zealand. Very wet and wild, stormy little afternoon we're having here. So I'm hoping our power and things don't go out. It's not that bad right now, so we should be fine. So I'm just going to change my audience levels on this. Today's topic is around authenticity and how real are we all? Like, really, are we actually being authentic and honoring ourselves in that space? Because there we go, now we're right. Sorry,
that's all right. Technology.
It is. Here we go.
It takes a minute. Even though it's supposed to be instant, I always went, okay, so all this technology has made things slower.
It has.
More work.
It has, absolutely. Morning, Claudia.
Morning.
We've just been setting up this tech side things here, so we haven't actually got underway. But authentic means not a copy, it means being genuine. And we're seeing many veils dropping at the moment and what we call our reality or truth and things, and we're recreating, in a sense, or still creating ourselves here with the awareness of who we really are. But I think for me, what really triggered this topic for me was around seeing that I feel, and this is where we're going into discussion, and anyone who's joining in here, the audience, please come in on the comments and let us know your views and feelings as well. But for me, what I feel is I'm seeing is that in the spiritual realm, if we want to call it that, or our spirit arena, I feel there's a happy clappy where everyone's supposed to be positive and happy. And what I see is people, we've termed Facebook as fake book before, we know that, but what I feel is that there's a lot going on that people don't share, and that's fine, and putting it up in a public space. But what it's doing is it's giving off a false image of self. Because we are human, we do go through emotional caca. We have it. That's what happens. We rise and fall in it all the time. And no matter how far along in your awareness, or if you think you're all there, you never will be. There's going to be things that are going to come along and trigger, and they're going to upset the balance within your life, because that's what's meant to happen. When we're in balance, I used to think, right, I need to balance my life. I've got to get it balanced, and I'm Libra, so I'm about the balance. And things were just boring because nothing was coming in that was altering the balance to make me look more into myself, at what was happening in myself. So it's like when we live alone, we don't have, and Bev, you've said this too, that we don't have people to trigger us or to get things happening within ourselves to make us look at some stuff and work through and process. So that's where I've been seeing this type of, this topic. That's why it sort of came up for me.
Yes.
It's huge, isn't it? This is a big one.
Yeah. I
think they're all huge, our topics. When you go into them, we sort of skim over, but when you actually look into something and discuss it like we do and go deeper, there's a deepness to them.
Well, I do live on my own, but luckily my neighbour keeps triggering me. It doesn't actually trigger me. He says something that makes me look deeper at things. It's not even, there's nothing conscious about what he's doing. It's just he says something and I go, and then I'll think on it. I think one of the last things, I can't remember exactly what he said, but it sent me down into looking at how strong I used to be. When I was 18, 19, 20, I was really strong. And then I got married and had children, and suddenly it just all, I don't know, fell away. And then when I got into energy work, I think it fell away even further because I was really having to look at everything. And it's like coming back to that. This is what I feel like I'm doing now. It's really coming back to that strong, authentic person that was me, that
Yeah.
had the world as her oyster. And I feel so much stronger in my core now. Just really looking at where I've been in my life.
Yeah.
Mm.
I resonate with that, Bev, really deeply, because I feel similarly to myself when I was younger. And I look back at the things that I was doing back then, and I shake my head. I go, wow, Claudia, like it was almost like I just didn't see the dangers. I didn't
No.
see, they just weren't in my consciousness.
No.
And I would just make decisions and do things that today I look at and I go,
I know.
what was I doing?
I
The
was,
fear wasn't there. There was no fear.
right.
We were
Yeah.
in that bulletproof place of not buying into the fear. We were just living life, wanting to get into life really at that age, eh?
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
wasn't until I had children that I started to really start to see, okay, this is what's at stake here. And this is how fragile like a situation or a person or life in general can be. And it kind of like, it slaps you in the face when you have kids. It slaps you in the face. It's like,
Well, it messes with your hormones to start with.
yeah.
It does.
And it takes a while for them to come back into balance.
Yeah.
Mm.
It does. But what we also do is we come, because it activates the fear within us, because what we do then is we start looking at who's the predators around my children. It's like we start looking at the fear state. Don't cross the road, don't, look where you go, watch you don't fall over, all of these things just keep running us every day with our children, and it takes us away from us, and it creates, again, I'll say, that fear, because we're fearful for them.
Yeah. And I feel like
and
time now has been unraveling all of that. It's been trying to unravel that fear. And because that's the thing, when you're young, you don't see it. Then you see it, and then you spend the rest of your life knowing that it's there, but trying not to be afraid of it, and growing around the knowledge that there's danger or, whatever's there, the cars or,
Well, that's the other thing. As we're saying that, as we say, don't do that, or the fear, where it's impacting our body, and all our cells are hearing it much more than the kids' cells are hearing it. It's our cells that are hearing it and really amplifying the fear that is within us.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
true.
It is.
And no one can tell you that stuff. Like, somebody could say, wait till you have kids, like the world will become a scary place, but you don't really get it until you've had your own children and been through that feeling and the hormones and all the stuff.
Yeah, and you get to the other end where your kids are all growing up, and you have to start working on releasing the fear that you hold within your body.
Yes,
I had heaps
I'm at that
of
point now. Yeah, because
All
Juliet's
those
just
things.
moved out, so yeah, I'm at
Okay.
that point now too. Juliet's moved out of home.
Yeah.
My eldest, she's 19, and
Yeah.
the fact that she's moved out has like brought on a whole new layer of that
Yeah,
stuff.
of course.
Yeah.
Mm. Yes, it's
It's fun.
It is.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I just had a piece of toast with tomato on because I was getting hungry. hadn't had food. And I thought, I'll get in here and I'll get a piece of toast quick and with tomato and salt and pepper. And I feel like I've got a piece of salt sticking just in the back end of my throat, which I'm trying to dissolve very quickly to get it because it keeps making me cough. So excuse me, but yeah, fear around our children. And then, you know, I think because we were programmed with that fear when our parents had us, obviously, as any parent. And then we come into that space, like we're talking 17, when we're all gung-ho for life and we just want to get out there. And we sort of ignore those bits of, we know the warnings are there. We've got all the stuff that they've programmed and put in place, all the signals, the signs. And then we just sort of work around, like you say, Claudia, I think you said, how we work around those sorts of fears and we just, you know, bowl into life really and don't really think too much about the consequences. And as we get into life, we're more aware of the consequences, so therefore we're more cautious. And that there can also create the possum in the headlights stuff, you know, where we get stuck because we're too scared to make a decision around moving forward or doing something. But yeah, this time right now, really important to start really creating self, you know, so looking at what the triggers are and what fears are still sitting there that are stopping us from being that authentic being. You know, and playing through that divine guidance that we know and just allowing it to unfold for us, which I love doing. I love doing that.
Yeah, like our parents taught us the fears, like, you know, taught us the dangers. But I think learning how to know, like, as I was saying, knowing that the dangers are there and still going out and living your life, you know, that's the trick is, okay, yes, there's, you know, stuff out there that's a little bit scary sometimes or a lot scary for some people. And being able to function, being able to trust, being able to go out and do stuff anyway, even though you know that that's in the background, that's where I'm at now in my life, where I'm seeing it for what it is, but learning to trust myself that I can cope if anything happens, or, you know, and a lot of that comes with the detachment, you know, like learning how to let go of the outcome, let go of control, trust the universe has your back, trust yourself that if something happens, you'll know what to do, all of that stuff. And I think when life happens to you and when all this stuff comes your way and it puts you through the ringer, you learn. It's like, you know, throwing somebody in the deep end and they learn how to swim when they're doing it. Like a lot of that stuff is going on with me right now, like learning how to swim in the deep end and all of that stuff. And I think from youth, I just always thought to myself, I'll be able to do it. You know, like it was that ignorant confidence.
Yes.
It was like ignorance and confidence mixed together.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
I hopped on a train at 17 and went from Perth to Melbourne, not knowing anybody, $70 in my purse. That's it. And,
and you didn't care. You
and
didn't care that you didn't have money. You didn't care you only had $70. You're like, I'll be right.
And in those days, of course, you could get jobs just like that. You know, it was really easy to get a job. But I look back now and I go, where's that confident young woman? She needs to be resurrected.
Yeah.
Yes.
And bring all her magic with her. Because we could magic up stuff back then. And, it's like, not that I can't magic stuff up now, but, you know, it's like really remembering that we are magicians as well and just, holding on to that space within us and bring our confidence back.
Yeah.
Take off the masks that we've all been wearing, you know. We all have a mask. I have a mask when I go visit my brothers. I have a mask when I'm, you know, talking to the lady in the shop. It's like time to take them off and be just the person that I am.
Mm. And I think, you know, from what I'm seeing around me anyway, with the people that I'm seeing,
Yep.
a lot more are doing that, you know, a lot more are speaking their mind where they would have just, you know, before,
No.
sort of, and not too concerned around whether that upsets others, you know, just absolutely doing and being who they really are. And I, you know, we keep saying about waking up, you know, people need to wake up. I don't feel that's the case. It's always been about remembering. And it's not until we really get to really remember who we are that the fear goes. You know, we don't even consider the stuff that might go wrong anymore. We go back to that 17, like we've been talking, because the fear stuff's not there for us, because we know we're not creating from that space anymore. So we start trusting our own creation and who we are in it, and life is smoother, way smoother.
Yeah.
In that.
That's so true, Mandy. That's so true. Creating from that space and have trusting in yourself that is what you're doing, and that you might not have control, but at least you can have an influence over how the trajectory of your actions.
Yes.
Because you're understanding the alchemy of life now.
Yeah.
You're understanding how it works, and you're understanding how to create and how to manifest and all of that stuff, and how, because when I was young, I had no clue about manifestation, about the laws of the universe, about, you know, alchemy, about any of that stuff. I had no clue of it. You know, all of that stuff was woo-woo to me. You know, if anybody tried to talk to me about spirituality, or because I was raised in a Catholic school and going to church, and so to me spirituality was like, oh, you know, that was a
witchcraft.
Witchcraft.
Yeah, exactly.
Or religion, really. For me, it always came down to religion.
Yeah.
Yet religion is about spirituality.
Totally.
Without the self part.
That's the one where we're going to hand it all over to somebody else.
Yes.
It's like, hello.
That's the difference.
That's totally the difference.
Yeah. We are not in control, but we're giving our control over to a higher entity.
A higher power.
Yeah.
Yes. I remember going to a Catholic church when I was 5 or 6, and long story short, they're all going into confession. I went, why can't I go there? And she said, well, because you're not Catholic, and they are telling their sins to the priest so he can take them to God. I went, oh, I can just talk to God.
Yeah. What do I need him for?
Exactly.
I don't need a go between.
No, I do not need a go between.
Yeah.
And I was quite young, and it was just like, I think there was that song on the radio. What was it? Something about a direct line to Jesus.
Oh, yes.
Something. Yeah. Anyway, I was like, oh, I don't need that.
Yeah, my dad was like you, Bev. He taught me that there's two types of people. There's the people that just go and do it and are good people and talk to God. And then there's people that have to tell you that they're good people and that they're God-fearing.
Yes.
You know? And the people that are like riveted, like, and always talking about going to church and being religious, they're the second kind.
Yes.
And then because my dad was like, you know, God is everywhere. God is in your life if you want him to be. And, you know, so that to me was the basis and the beginning of spirituality for me.
Yeah.
And then over the years and over time, I started to see and realize that my dad was right, but on a bigger scale.
Yeah.
You know, and that was the fundamentals of spirituality in my life for me. And I'm really grateful for that, because I never had that traditional idea about giving my power over to God.
Yes.
Yeah.
Me either.
Mm.
No.
I'm a bit, I'm a bit, I don't know what the word is. I've always felt this, definitely a battle up energy, defensive, hold my power, hold my strength when somebody's trying to manipulate or control. And I haven't always held my ground, but I've definitely been aware of it in the moment and how my body felt in that, and that's sort of where I was heading to next, was with the feeling state that we have. I just need to let this cat out, sorry.
It's okay. Yeah.
The feeling state within the body. We talked about this on your show, actually, on Witch Bitch, just recently, about staying in your divinity and how do we hold divinity within ourselves, and that is by listening to the body. And when we come out of, and I know for me, when I come out of integrity with myself now, I'm an instant burning. It's like there's a heating up in my body, and it just indicates to me where I've just gone off par a wee bit, and that instantly is burnt out of my cells from what I feel. But it's paying enough attention to find those parts of self that are indicating to you when you have come out of that divinity and into, mind or people pleasing or the expectation of what others feel you should be doing. We've lived our life many, many times from that angle, and too afraid to change because everyone wouldn't like it. And that's, it's a sad thing, but that's what we do. And it takes a lot of soul courage. It's actually, the soul's already courageous and is already gung-ho and wanting to go wherever it's drawn to go and knows that it's going to be the best place. It's the human emotional that starts performing around that, so the soul might be urging us to do something, and we have these fears or a program that comes up within the mind that tells us what story we should be doing instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the universe finds a way to make us do it anyhow.
Yeah.
Or you can say no. You can actually say no, because yesterday I had exactly that. I had in my mind now, message this person and asked to do something or other, and I negated it. And as it turned out, it would have been best if I had followed my prompt, because the prompt was there while I was under the shower. It kept going, and I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. Get out of the shower. No, I'm not. I'm not going to interfere with another person's thing that they're doing. But as it turned out, I probably would have been best to put my hand up and say, look, I could do this little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. And there's that regret that comes in afterwards, because that wasn't actually the best it could have been,
Right.
It wasn't brought into its highest good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bev, why didn't you listen?
Hey?
Why do you think you didn't listen? Why, when you got out of the shower, why were you like, nah, not doing it?
Because I didn't want to interfere with another person's agenda.
Yeah, right.
Somebody else running it, and
someone else was running something, and I thought I was being respectful by not interfering, but actually when I got on the call, it was like there was people everywhere putting their 2 cents worth in, but I think my contribution would have been perfect.
Yeah, right.
I just didn't add it in. So anyway, it's a good little lesson, and we are learning all the time.
Yeah. So, because the reason I'm asking is because I do that all the time. I'll get a prompt.
Yep.
And I'll be like, that's the exact opposite of what I would do.
Yes.
And so I go, nah, not doing it, because I have raised myself in such a way with certain things, not with everything, with certain things, where I have like a system in place, and I've created that system due to watching others or avoiding certain pitfalls and things like that. And that system has worked perfectly for me throughout my life until recently.
Yeah.
And I'm getting these prompts that are telling me to basically scrap the system.
Yep.
Go back to the drawing board, Claudia. And I didn't listen. And it's, months later, and I'm now seeing why I needed to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm going, okay, I should have listened. And it's just happened to me twice where it's had big, big impact in my life where I didn't listen. And if I had listened, things would have been a lot easier for me and turned out a lot different. And so that's why I'm asking you why you didn't listen, because
whereas before, when I first woke up, I used to listen all the time. And I remember one day this in my head was going, go to the caravan park, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, weird stuff that just comes out of the blue.
Why would I want to do that?
Yeah.
Finally, I get in my car and I go down to the caravan park, and there was this young woman who was in such distress that I could help support her. But it was like, why would I do that? But I followed the prompt. It might have to tell me 3 or 4 times before I actually went and did it. But I did do it. And as I've got older, it's like, I don't want to step on anybody's toes. It's like, come forward, withdraw, come forward, withdraw. I think yesterday was a really big wake-up call. Follow the prompts.
Yeah.
You don't know where they'll leave.
We don't always see what the prompts are showing us, why that could be. It's not until you take the action that you see what it is and you get it. But again, it's that trusting, eh?
Yeah.
100%. And I'm one of these people, when somebody tells me what to do, even if it's for my own good, even if it's for my own good, I need to know why they're telling me. Why do I need to be doing this? And you can't, when you're getting divine information, sometimes there's no time or there's no way for them to communicate that. There's just the thought, you got to do this.
Yeah.
And then the ego gets involved and goes, why do I have to do that?
Yeah.
Why am I doing this? And
just because you tell me.
Yeah. That's the struggle I'm having. That's the struggle, is trusting that just go and do it.
Seriously.
Don't ask why, just do it.
Seriously, Claudia, just trust.
Yeah.
I lived in New Zealand for 9 years because I trusted.
Yeah.
I trusted the prompt that I got, you need to live in New Zealand. I'm like, really? And then I was 55 and I packed everything up, sold everything and moved to New Zealand.
Yeah.
But my gosh, what an experience. I met Mandy to start with.
Yeah.
I grew so much from following that. And that was actually a big shift for me to do that.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. Was. I'd actually just got all the things that I wanted. I had a new fridge, new washing machine, all the things that I had wanted. I had just got them all.
Wow.
And go sell them off and move. Beauty. But yeah, for my own growth and I think I helped a lot of people as well over there. That no, I don't think, I know.
I was going to say.
I own a few things.
Yes.
I helped a lot of people because of the experiences that I had that I could bring with me.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. That's amazing. I'm glad that you recognize it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so glad you did that. I'm so blessed to have you in my life, Bev.
Yeah, did I?
Yes, I am too.
Yes. See, we wouldn't have all come together. I hadn't have taken that leap of faith.
That's right. Yeah.
So true.
And it's just trusting the prompts in the body, and often we don't know where the heck they're leading us. You know, you had no idea what that meant for you to come to New Zealand, but man, what an unfolding. It was beautiful.
Mm.
Mm. Yeah.
Talk about naive.
Wow, eh? It's all
Did you
about
have the
growing up.
same, Bev, did
Hey?
you have the same when you were moving to Perth? Did you have that same feeling? I've got to move to Perth now.
No, no, I was moving home
Yeah, right.
when I came back, and it was like, I don't know, there was just this, I needed to move back here to be with
Just a
my
knowing in
family.
your body.
I just knew it wasn't the same sort of prompt. There
Yeah,
was a
right.
lot of other stuff happening in my life, and I've got my grandkids here that I didn't know, and
Yeah.
you know, there's these things that it's been great to get to know my
Mm.
grandkids.
Yeah,
Mm.
beautiful.
Mm. And
Um,
I think part of my reclaiming my confidence is being back in my original hometown.
Mm.
It's like collecting all those parts of me that I've left scattered all over the universe, but I can anchor them in here because this is my anchor point.
Yeah, right.
Mm.
yeah.
And then I'll be ready to put my wings on again and fly somewhere.
Awesome.
Rachel has just said, my ego sometimes reminds me of a 3-year-old child wanting to know why.
Mm. I'm
Why?
with you on that one, Rachel.
Why?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes, it's like that. I won't be satisfied. Like it's like a hunger in me. Like, why do I have to do that? Why am you telling me to do that?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're still acting out of your 3-year-old.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a constant fight with myself. You know, my adult self is saying, you don't always need to know this stuff. Like, just do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
authority
Loud
over us,
inside me.
though.
It's so loud.
Yeah.
It's like this real desire to, and it's kind of like that little bit of defiance. Like, why are you telling me what to do?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, the
totally.
stubborn child.
Yeah.
And you
I think I'm going to call her Bev.
Hey?
When
and
she
you
gets
would.
in and starts
Oh,
doing
never. Why do you think I can recognise it?
I know, we're all the same. And I think even I know for me that all of that, holding on to that and growing that in me and knowing when to, you know, picking battles, is readied me for these last 3 years as well. You know, we knew we've always known what was right for us and what we've needed and all of that. So it's, you know, even though it might look like it's defiant, we haven't agreed with the system since we birthed in.
Yeah,
exactly.
Right. We've been holding on to our own authenticity and our authentic selves as much as possible through that time. And it's been a struggle. I know for myself, pioneering through this time has been a real struggle. But
Absolutely.
we've done it. You know, we are doing it.
We are doing it.
Rachel says, I think it's really loud, especially if you're an ear sign like me. I agree, Rachel. I agree. Yeah. But I think that child, you know, in many cases, she's the one that's that knowing. She knows that, you know, there's something behind that authority. There's something that's their own thing. And it's not my stuff, but you're commanding me to do this. I don't want to, you know. There's always just that knowing, we've had.
Yeah. That's what it is, Mandy. You hit the nail on the head there. It's that constant questioning of why you asking me to do that is, it's like, I tell myself what to do, not you. That feeling, you know. And so, you know, if I know what I'm doing, why would I listen to you? And when the answer comes back, well, okay, yes, but you didn't see this, this, and this. And then I go, okay, that makes sense to me. Off I go.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if they can't come up with a logical reason or a reason that's going to better me or the situation,
Yes.
it might be coming from something in them that is, manipulating or
Yeah.
I don't
What's
know,
the intention behind it?
an
Eh?
agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah, has an
Yeah.
agenda or whatever.
Yeah.
Asking why eventually gets you to where you need to go to say, okay, yes, now I'm going to be compliant, or no,
Yes.
I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
I need more information, please.
Mm. And that there is the part too where I feel it's really important for us to all check ourselves and our own intention as well, and that what is behind what it is that we're trying to make happen here, or
Yes.
it's like, where does that all come from? Because sometimes that can also be that old program that's still playing out from that authority that we didn't agree with in the first place way back when we were a kid or whenever.
Yeah,
You know.
so true. Yep, so true. And learning how
Yeah.
to stand in your power and to say no. Well, you don't even need to say it. You just need to be no. You just need to be it.
Yes.
Half the time you don't even need to say to the person or to the thing or to the authority, I'm not doing that. You just don't give them your attention.
No.
You be the no, and you're like,
Either no.
yeah, I'm going over here now. You can just squabble over there.
Yeah.
I'm going over here.
Yeah. Can all be done in a look, eh?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Quite tricky, can it? Being the no.
Yeah,
Mm.
exactly. And when you know that thing or that direction is wrong for you, I think allowing that no to stand without questioning it, like, and again, that's the ego. Why don't, like, sometimes if you don't want to do something, you're like, everybody else is doing it, why don't you want to do it? And you start second guessing yourself.
Mm.
And you're like, I'm scared not to follow the crowd. I'm scared.
Yes.
I'm scared to go down this
Just stand out.
alternate path. Yeah, that's I'm going to be alone, or I'm just going to have a couple of friends, and all these people are over here doing that. But knowing in your body that that's not right for you, and this is right for you, the road less traveled, whatever it is. That was something as a child, that was a strong theme in my life as a child, was walking down roads where I wasn't walking with the crowd. And I got really used to it. And learning, particularly with a no, when you're feeling the no in your body, or when your prompt is no, don't go down there, and trusting in that, and knowing that even though that road looks a little bit lonely, you might be maybe one of only a few that are going down that road, that it's still the road that you need to take.
Yeah.
Even
Hey,
though
Claudia,
society's telling you, go here.
Can I ask, how easy is it for you to accept a no? Like, so, and I'm really interested in this because I've been trying to teach a woman about standing in her power and saying no, but she can't hear a no.
Yeah,
so
right.
Can you hear a no?
Well, that's an interesting question, because when I was younger, I used to think that a person's no was negotiable. And I could negotiate with them to get maybe half a yes, or to get something out of the situation that I wanted, like something's better than nothing.
That's because that person's boundaries were always pushed.
Probably.
You could push the boundary.
I would try though, like I would really, really try.
Yeah.
And because my mum was one of these people that said no to everything. It was just an automatic no.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so for me, I was like, how am I going to get around it? Because it was always there. But then as I grew older, and particularly when I had my own children, I had to learn how to start respecting those boundaries. And I had to learn that when a child says no, you need to listen, particularly children.
Mm.
And you know, because adults, when you don't respect their no, or if you're pushing the boundaries with them, sometimes it can be humorous, you know, sometimes it can be, Claude, no, I said no, you know, and then you kind of back off and that sort of thing. But with kids, they're so innocent and small, and you're teaching them, like, you know, as a mother, you're teaching your children about boundaries and about themselves and about what they can say no to and what's okay and what's not okay, things like that. And so I had to really go into that belief system that I had created to teach my children that no is no sometimes, and that needs to be respected.
Mm.
And that grew me. That grew me big time, and made me realize it's not always about me, and that the no isn't always about me either. I don't, not to take it personally.
Yeah, I think that's what I was asking. It's about not taking the no personally.
Yes.
It's tricky.
Yeah.
Mm.
Especially if you've got tunnel vision, you know.
Yeah,
and
this is my objective, and you're going to follow it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Rachel just said, I feel that, Claudia. I've walked many roads alone.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
Also, Zalika has just put in here, my biggest challenge has been to stay in my center and in my truth when somebody imposes their ideas, beliefs, conditions, projecting their fears, anxiety, limited beliefs by manipulation, emotional blackmail, etc., trying to make me fit into their expectations of who I am and how to live life without any respect or acceptance of who I truly am, as they can't see me. I know that is only their opinion and perception, but is still challenging to freely just express my authentic self in every moment, which I do anyway. But many times I feel suppressed and defeated.
Yes.
Exactly.
True.
Yeah.
I got goosebumps on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's huge. And I think that happens a lot and to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's what I was doing when I wasn't accepting the no from people, and I was trying to manipulate them and, you know, see if I could get around it.
Yeah. My mother was somebody whose boundaries didn't stick. She'd say no, and I'd just give her a fight. She'd go, okay, because I was too strong. And I realized years later, when I had my first daughter, that was exactly what I was doing. She was doing exactly what I did to my mum. And I thought, oh my goodness. You know, so second daughter in, I stuck to the boundaries. I had them set in place, and that was it. And there was a way less hassle from that daughter.
Yeah.
The first one and I had lots of arguments, like Mum and I did, because I was pushing boundaries and I was just tiring her out till she gave in. It was horrible. It's so mean. Oh, Mum.
Battle of wills.
I often apologise to her now.
I just used to wait till everybody's asleep and sneak out the window. I didn't actually wait to ask if I could do something.
I think that's probably the best way, Bev.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well,
yeah.
I'm still here. That's, you know, I'm still here.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's important to know our no, for sure.
Yeah.
You know,
and to know how to accept somebody else's no. Because, you know, sometimes when someone else says no to you, it's like, really? Oops.
Yeah.
Wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
But, you know, everybody's entitled to their no.
Yeah.
And to have a strong yes and a strong no.
Yeah, for sure. And I do, I mean, now I can allow that allowing, you know, like before it was like you balk at it because it's not what you want. But in respect to everyone, that's, you know, you allow that. You get me? Yeah.
Yeah, it's about control, isn't it?
Oh, hell yeah.
It's releasing the control over your expectations. Like, you think you've projected your mind into a situation and you see how you want it to go or whatever it is. And somebody says no, which puts a spanner in the works. And then you have to learn flexibility. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, how am I going to achieve this without that person, or how am I going to achieve it with that no in the mix?
Yeah.
And getting creative, you know, and trusting that everything's going to turn out okay, even with this person saying no or whatever. Or even with you saying no. Like sometimes that prompt has come in and I've been all for something and the prompts come in and go, nah, you're not doing that. Don't do that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And you're like, what?
La 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 la. Oh, yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's so fun though, really, eh? Like once you get yourself, you know, like that, we can laugh at ourselves because those are the things that we want to done and still might do in moments for a moment. But you know, it is laughable. And I think it's important to have humor for sure.
Yeah.
And laugh at us ourselves.
And laugh at ourselves. I think that's been one of my biggest lessons, is to learn how to laugh at myself.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes
Yeah.
sometimes it's laughable.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I just feel it's important to you know, like when we started this conversation around, you know, maybe the Facebook you know, it's all lovely and it's all nice,
Yeah.
and how I can understand people not wanting to put or air their dirty laundry on Facebook. You know, I get that.
Yeah.
And I don't do that myself. That I don't have so many moments now where I need to share that with anyone. It just sort of rides through pretty quickly. So by the time I might have even put it up there, the whole thing's moved on anyway. So
yeah, so true.
You know, so and one of the other things is that I remember, you know, and I've spoken about this before, about how when we explain our story or a situation, people will see us there all the time. They don't move on from that, you know, and we might have 2 months ago or 3 months ago, or even a day ago, and still somebody's still sitting there with that energy of us. And that part there, I can understand why people won't and don't put it out in a public space, because that's what happens. Energy affects everything and it infects it too. So if there's something that, you know, you've spewed out on there, and then there's all these rotten comments that come in, they're going to affect you. And so of course you don't want to be putting stuff out like that, and I get that. But I feel that even though you might be all happy clappy on Facebook and Instagram and everything's going wonderfully, and it's actually not, then find someone. I'm hoping and praying that whoever finds and has somebody close enough that they can actually be really truthful and honest with, and share their deepest stuff and their wounding and their stuff that they're hiding from everyone else. Because, you know, I've seen suicides happen from this, where they've been very, very online, all wonderful and all the rest of it. And actually that wasn't the real them. That was not true. And I just felt a deep sadness that if this person had been really honest, there could have been so many people helping. You know? So that's sort of, you know, that's a big part of why this conversation came up for me, this topic, because it's just, it's so rife out there. There's so much going on that's not real.
I think there's only one person on my Facebook page, and I have a lot of people on my page, who is actually honest.
Yep.
She'll tell you when things are shit, and she'll say when they're not, but she doesn't say it in a way that invokes sympathy for her. It's like she's just stating the facts. This is how it is. And I really appreciate everything she has to say.
Yeah.
Because it's real. She's real. She's real. I don't put very much out on Facebook at all. Well, especially since I've moved back to Australia. But I do have people that I can share deeply with.
Yeah.
I definitely do.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
that's the other part too that used to bug me whenever something was put up, well, I'd put something up, is the sympathy.
Yeah.
Oh God.
You know,
Yes.
and I understand, I love, you know, I think that's beautiful of people to feel that empathic way towards you and compassion and all those things. But yeah, sympathy is and can be a wee bit
Yeah. Look, I think
disempowering.
yes,
And
What it's
it's
empathy.
saying
like
is
packing
you don't
everything,
have, yes, you don't have
patting
to,
everything back together.
yes,
I know when I've been facilitating workshops and somebody's in deep grief, I just get, do not touch that person because
yes,
they need to feel this and just go through it.
Yeah.
They don't need anybody cuddling them or patting them back together because it doesn't help to heal.
no,
Yeah.
it stops the process.
It stops
Yeah.
the process, yes.
Mm,
Mm,
yeah,
yeah,
no,
we,
it's interesting. But I
oh,
feel and hope and pray that people in the cyber world out there, because you can create an image of whatever you want. You know, everybody
yeah,
can, anyone can put up, and we see it all the time where people are taking our Facebook, you know, the we have to go and change everything, all the passwords and everything, because we've just been hacked. Well, you know, there's so much of this taking other people's imaging and all those things and creating something else from it. And like I say, we can put up any sort of whatever you want to make your image about. You can put up a whole false everything if you want to,
Mm.
you know, but where's it going to get you, really? Because at least be honest to yourself. If you can't be to others, be really honest with self, because that's the only way you're going to move through and progress.
yeah,
Yeah, I think being honest and real, those two things, honesty and realness,
yeah,
is different to self-pity and feeling sorry for yourself. It's very,
Yes.
those things are very, very
Yeah.
different. Saying I'm in this place and I know I'm in this place and I know it's temporary, but it's really shit right now.
Yeah.
And I'm really feeling it. And I need, like, you know, because people don't really talk like that to each other. I'm feeling it and I need to feel it. I need to be a mess right now. Like, I've got a girlfriend who she's done a lot of self-healing and she's done a lot of work on herself. And she speaks like that. We speak like that with each other. And when she's crumbling and she's going through something and I'm like, oh God, that must be so shit for you. Like, I can't imagine how awful that must be. And she looks at me and is like, thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that it's awful and acknowledging how shit I'm feeling right now. Instead of what, like you were saying, Bev, saying, oh, it's going to be okay. Everything's going to be fine. Don't worry about it. I'm not in the shit with her. I'm on the sidelines seeing what's going on. And I'm telling her that's really crap, man.
And you can honour her feelings.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when she sees me seeing her like that, and I'm holding space for that shitness that's going on right now, that's what she's like. Because whenever she's in that space, in that shit space, she knows she can ring me and talk to me, and I'm not going to try and put her back together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
And that's all she needs. And people overcomplicate it. You know, they think,
I do. I have to give
I
solution.
can't be there for that person because I can't make them feel better, and so I'm just not going to be there for them.
Looking for solutions for another person does not work. I'm actually over people trying to give me solutions to things that I know. I might express something, but I don't actually want them to find a solution for me. I'm just not there with that anymore. I can find my own solution. I just need to go through the shit. When I come out the other side, I'll have sorted it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. And not judge you, you know, like not, oh, that Bev.
Oh, well, if they do, I don't care anymore. Certainly not past that.
Because we're always going to get there. That's just something that humans do. They just judge,
Yeah, they can't
it's a
help
common
themselves.
thing.
I do it myself.
And we find
You
ourselves
know?
doing it, eh? For sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, one of my favourite sayings about authenticity is be yourself. Everybody else is taken.
Yes, so true.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm.
Wish
Yeah,
those
very
Facebook
true.
hackers would get that.
Have you been hacked, Mandy?
Yeah, I don't get that. I just anyway, it's quite
Hey, I
the
know.
why they do it. I just go, oh well, whatever.
Yeah, I know.
Mm.
I
I
do
think
too.
it's because they've got a
like, oh,
captive audience in your, like, that they tap into your, because each Facebook page is like a portal, and it has a captive audience in that portal, so they get access to the people who pay attention to you. And that's what they're stealing, is people's
yes,
attention.
they are.
Yeah.
Then what do they do with it? I'm like,
Hack them.
Hack them. Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah,
Get
Mm.
people's
It's-
information.
yeah. And, we think like people are so on about, trying to protect their privacy. It's too late. It's already
Oh,
done.
way too late.
It's honestly, and I think, oh, who gives a hoot? They can know everything about. Everyone knows everything about me. I never hold back on anything now. Anyway, it's like there's nothing to find.
Exactly.
What you see is what you get here. Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
but no, it's absolutely time to really step into your authentic selves if you haven't already. And I know there's so many out there that are. I know that this world is changing rapidly day to day. We are moving so much out of the old programming. We're unplugging from the old matrix, and we are creating ourselves new again, and still will be for a little time yet. But it's like we will never stop evolving. That's what we're doing. We are nature. Nature does not stop. It doesn't stand still for a second. And it's always evolving with us. So just pay attention to the prompts in the body. Again, I always say that because our body is our intelligence. Our feelings are our intelligence. So pay attention to those and see where you're getting prompted, because right now is a really important time to, in the creation of self, but also in movement. If you're feeling stuck where you are and your life's not what it is, what you want it to be, then ask yourself, what is it? What action do I need to take to make this change? And it might be a mindset. It might be that your mindset needs changing, and your actual place of residence is fine once you've changed the mindset.
Yeah.
It might be that you need to actually shift home or shift town or whatever it might be, but be courageous, because now's the time to be really courageous and bring in this new world that you're building and wanting in life.
Yeah.
And what do you want to experience now? Because we've done all this other kaka. We've been there, done that. There's nothing more to experience in that arena, that we're coming out of. So what is it you want to experience, and really start making that happen.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I love that, Mandy. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those questions are so important.
Yeah, for sure. They
So
really are. And I'm excited at this point in time, because if you feel into this energy right now, it is real creative source energy, and that is magical energy. And honestly, anything can happen in a moment when we tap into it, when we just lay out a bit of a plan and start taking steps towards that. Man, the universe comes in and just absolutely powers in there and puts in place everything that you need. And it's just such a beautiful thing, and it's so much freaking fun. I don't know why anyone would want to hold back, because it just buzzes me. I love it. My joy chakra starts getting it's like, woo, we're off. I love it. So yeah. But thank you so much, everybody, and all of you watching and viewing. And all the comments, the ladies will go in after we've finished and make some comments on there as well. And thank you. Share this out there. I will put up an edited version where you've not got all the tech stuff going on at the beginning. But other than that, just take great care and create the world you're really wishing to live in, because, like I say, it's a dynamic time for that. Don't pay attention to all the kaka. That's not where you need to be. Just focus on what your life's about and what you want for you and your family, and start doing that.
And
So
be
thank
real.
you.
Yeah,
Yes,
be real.
be real.
Yeah.
Be real, for sure.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bevan. Claudia, again, for another great
Mwah.
combo.
Thank
I love
you.
it. Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
Love you
Bye.
guys. See ya.
ya.
Thank you.